sheet metal construction industry, I should be able to find plenty of candidates. The construction industry's full of flamboyant guys who don't talk about sports trucks and motorbikes and guns all day.
Recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week, John Rajcich returns to the show to discuss some recent topics going on in the news, including last month's Halloween costumes, the fast food industry's deceitful food tactics, and we'll give our reviews of some new music by old artists. So let's get right into this and help me welcome back to the program. He is the guy who was with me during the last Beatles song released nearly 28 years ago. He is my old pal, Mr. John Rajcich. Woo! Woo! Bigot, 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 Johnny. Remember that song? Remember that song, buddy?
I do.
It's a great song. Men at Work. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best of theirs.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
Oh, it's really weird listening to songs that have your name in them. It's like, I'm like, can you quit saying my name, please? It's making me uncomfortable.
There's a lot more songs with your name in it than mine. That's for sure.
I know.
There's a bunch of big hit songs with yours in it. Like, you know, Johnny Be Good.
Change that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start writing some Josh tunes out there.
Before I forget, John, I want to thank you for making this awesome sign.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So
I didn't think you didn't have enough decorations in your background, so I wanted to add another.
Well, the other one I couldn't fit. I was like, I don't know, I can't set it up, and then you made a stand for this and everything. It's pretty awesome. So
I would say it always looks smaller on my computer screen, and then in real life, I don't realize how big it is until I see it in the real world. I'm
where
like,
do I put this thing? But it's awesome that you did a great job on it, and cool design. It's fun to display. Like it's really cool. So appreciate that.
Yeah,
but we
can't change your logo.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can't change the logo. You know, actually, I have the other one hanging up still on the wall over there. But yeah, whatever. So we have a lot of music to discuss. Apparently, you know, the pandemic's over. Everyone's just flooding the market with music, and a lot of it's like the older guys, the older groups. So
I want to bang one last good one out before they're done, I think.
You know, people in their 80s releasing music, people who are dead releasing music. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So we're going to talk about some of that. But yeah, so I definitely wanted to talk about a few other things in the music industry. You know, a few episodes ago, we did the Jimmy Buffett tribute show. So if you haven't seen that, we picked out some of our favorite Jimmy Buffett songs and talked about some other stuff there. But that's what I ended up being for Halloween this year. I was like,
yeah, dude.
I switched it. I was going to be something else, and I was like, well, I already have like 100 of these shirts. I have the stash. I could just be Jimmy Buffett, and I have like it's a no brainer. So I'm like, I'm switching it up,
Nailed it.
Jimmy Buffett, doing Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, you nailed it. It was pretty sweet.
I did the 70s Jimmy Buffett because I couldn't do like, you know, like we always talk about. You can't do the 80s Jimmy Buffett. Like, what is that anyway? Who knows what that is?
Larry David with a guitar.
Larry David. Yeah. So like,
you want to know what I was for Halloween?
Yeah, what
I
were you?
For 5 minutes, I was an old guy across the street from my son's school waiting to pick him up. I was wearing a plastic mask with eyeballs over it, and if my wife hadn't been there, I'm sure the police would have been called on me. Yeah, we didn't do anything. It's kind of sad, but...
well, I mean, you're adults. I'm clearly not an adult, so that's why I still go out for Halloween. Yeah,
no, I'm not an adult. I just... no one else wants to do anything, then I ain't going to do it either.
Well, I'm thinking we're flirting with going back for Halloween next year. Maybe. We'll see.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe. I don't know.
Then I might do something.
Yeah, there you go. But
see you suckers. I'm going to hang out with Josh and do something fun.
Yes. So it's funny because Jen went as Joan Jett, and
nice.
That was pretty cool. I was like, man, she's like spot on, man. Like she looks amazing. And we went to this bar, and there was like nobody there, and I was like, okay, we gotta go somewhere else. There's like nobody here. So we went to this bar like next to my house, and they're like, we walk in the door, John. We walk in the door. This is no joke. You can't make this up. We walked in the door, and it was like a whole place applauded. We're like, we were like, is there somebody famous behind us or something? Like what?
That would be awkward for me.
It was awkward for us. They all applauded. I was like, what? I go, and I looked at everybody. I go, I guess one of us is winning tonight. I don't know. Like, so, So I actually won first prize. I'm like, it wasn't that great. I was like, it's all right. But I was like, all right. But
a lot of parrot heads down there.
It helps that we were at a karaoke bar. So you can sing karaoke. So I, of course, sang Margaritaville, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, come on. So whole place is like, Margaritaville,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. I personally think Jen should have won, but I don't know. I was in the bathroom when she got called up, so I couldn't cheer, and I'm a loud guy, so that was probably part of the problem.
They lost your decibels.
Yeah. So, John, have you seen that Motley Crue is in the news?
Yeah.
Motley Crue is in the news, and they've been there's like that. Have you been following that, like Mick Mars thing, where like I don't know, he's basically just told them, he's like, guys, I can't, he says that disease where he's like, it's hard for him to play music now, and he's like, I can't tour, I can't keep touring, and they're like, we'll just replace you, and then and then now he's like suing them. He's like suing them. It's like, I guess so. He claims that they're taking away his shares of the corporation, and they're denying him future profits of the group. And so they ran out and replaced him with that, virtuoso John Five, who was in Rob Zombie's band for a while. And they're like touring like Australia as we speak, and they're going to be doing Summerfest, and so they have stuff planned. They have stuff coming up. And have you heard the new Mick Mars single?
Yeah, only because you told me about it. I was like,
it's weird that Mick Mars is coming out with an album.
I know.
But whatever. I
didn't know what I was expecting.
Yeah,
I was not expecting much, but I thought it was really good, actually. I was very surprised.
Right. I mean, yeah, the music sounded great. I don't know who the singer was, but he sounded pretty good.
To me, it had the sound of like some of it sounded a little like 90s Alice in Chains, and that was cool. I was like, oh, this is
right. It's pretty heavy.
Decent. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's, kind of reminded me of, the first, what was the single? The single's called Loyal to the Lie. And I was like, that's the first single you're going to so it reminds me of like when...
the beef track.
Yeah, it reminded me of kind of like when Sammy Hagar was shortly replaced by David Lee Roth in 1996. And then Sammy Hagar came out with a single in 1997 called Little White Lie. Which was a great song. I loved the song. But I was like, this is kind of like the same thing. It's like, okay. You're just going to replace me with, that buffoon, David Lee Roth. He's like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
no kid, man.
Yeah. So yeah, they had that going on. But John, I have a question for you. You did mention that you were kind of like a senior citizen now. You can't take like your beer like you used to. But back in the old days, back in John's prime, what is the most alcohol that you've ever drank in a day? Do you know? Do you remember? Well, actually, most people probably can't answer this question, but
yeah, I'd say, I don't know if it was the most, but it was definitely a lot, and in a very short period of time. After one of my rugby matches at WSU, the team always had a huge party afterwards. Both teams would show up.
Both
and for the yeah, it was like you beat each other up for an hour and a half, and then you party together.
Dude, that's awesome.
This is kind of a cool idea.
That is awesome.
But because I was a first year player, they kind of haze you a little bit, and so they always order you to drink up. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was older than most of them.
Yeah,
right. Dude, I was looking at the ground after I realized I drank too much, and the ground came at me. And so I wasn't going towards the ground. It was coming up at me. And then I did a little somersaults down the hill.
Oh, my God.
And I got up, and I was like, I got to go lay down. And I slept on I don't even know what I slept on, but I slept in the freaking basement of this house that I'd never been before.
Were you spinning?
No, it was weird. I threw up in a Capri Sun box, and then I blacked out. So it wasn't too bad.
Wow.
But I probably drank more over a longer period of time. But
Right.
Yeah.
But that was.
I remember I chugged 240s in a row, like
jeez,
10 minutes, and then when my stomach just couldn't hold it, and I projectile vomited all out.
Oh, God.
I was fine.
That's gross.
I was like, yeah, I'm fine now.
I feel great now that the beer is out of my system here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't have time to absorb.
John, the reason I asked that is I saw this podcast with Bill Maher on his new, what do they call that? Club Random. And Tommy Lee was on it. And Tommy Lee said that for a long time, he was drinking 2 gallons of vodka a day.
Oh my gosh.
2 gallons of vodka a day. And
that's insane.
I think it'd probably kill a lot of people. Like, what did they say that John Bonham died of, like 40 shots of vodka or something like that? I don't know what the equivalent is, but that's a lot of booze to be taken in.
How many shots are in 2 gallons?
I have no idea, but he's doing this daily. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you don't need recovery time. I guess when you're an alcoholic, you just build up that tolerance.
That's more booze than blood.
Yes. Well, yeah. So he said he went to the doctor, and because I don't know if he cleaned up. I don't know if he's fully clean. It's Tommy Lee, but
yeah.
He went to the doctor's office and they told him, "You're in great health." And I'm like, wow. What? He's like, this guy's abused himself for 45 years. So I don't know. And then he said that one time, because he was curious, he strapped on a Fitbit to his leg when he was drumming. I think it was on his leg or his arm. And it said that he ran, it told him that he ran for over 12 miles. I was like, oh my God. Well, maybe that's how he's working enough. I don't know, but
yeah. Man, that's so much alcohol in your bloodstream. I'd just cut them and suck off of that and get, give some free shots. Well, it's not blood. It's booze.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
It's cocktail. It's a Bloody Mary. It's a Bloody Tommy, I guess.
Oh, look at that. That's good.
Ooh,
that's good.
Snap.
So I'm scared of drinking a lot these days. It hurts. I don't know. Do these guys like Tommy Lee, did he stop because he thinks it's just bad for his health, or did it actually start hurting him? That's my question. I don't know.
I don't know.
These hangovers, when you get older, I mean, they are just, they're not fun, man. They're just not fun.
No, feel burned out for a few days.
Yeah.
Drink enough to get hammered.
Well, John, do you have any, because this is when you get older, you try to prevent hangovers. Obviously, either you stop drinking or you're okay, you get creative. I have these salt pills and these different things that I put out before I start drinking and stuff, so I can remember to take them. Everybody has their remedies. Do you have a remedy or a prevention tool that you use for drinking? If you are going to be drinking?
Try to stop early and drink lots of water.
Okay.
And hope you sleep through the worst of it.
Okay. So, the old school method. The old school method. Well, the reason I bring this up is because supposedly there's a new hangover prevention drink that's going to be coming out. And it's called safety shot. So the creators, listen, I don't know how like studied this is, but they claim that it can sober you up in less than an hour.
Huh.
And it prevents hangovers altogether.
I'm sold.
So this is expected to launch here during the holidays in 2023. So coming up, man, coming up.
Got some White Russians and whatever those things are.
Yeah, the safety shot.
What if I just drink those? I'll probably feel amazing.
Yeah, it's like I'll be drinking the safety shot while I'm doing the safety dance. Safety dance. Oh, the safety dance. You can dance if you want to. Yeah, so like the safety shot, it was the first patented beverage on Earth. I like how they're on Earth that helps people
AKA
bounce
the
back.
U.S.
Yeah, it helps people bounce back by decreasing blood alcohol content and boosting clarity. So
wow,
I thought they already invented that. It's like it's an IV. You could call up the little nurses in the vans and they come up and hook up the IV to you. Yeah, but
anything to keep a needle out of my arm.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to have Eric get on this, and he always buys like the new thing. It's usually alcohol, so I don't know if he's going to be into buying something that prevents being drunk, but we'll see. We'll see. Eric, get on it, man. Get on it, buddy.
Yeah, pass it through the grapevine. I'll have a few guinea pigs try it out, and then I'll do it.
Right? What are you afraid it's going to a couple people have died already from this this new hangover drink.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, I'll give it a shot, but especially, people that get severe hangovers like myself, I'll be willing to give it a shot. But like you said, I think our heavy drinking days are somewhere back there, somewhere behind us there. Something else that is proven to help with hangovers, John, is food.
Oh, yeah.
Food. Yeah. Do you ever get drunk and start like opening up cupboards or going to order food or eat horrible stuff when you're drunk?
Oh yeah. I'm dairy intolerant now. So, the whole senior citizen thing. And the other night I had some cheese sticks. That was a real good idea. I felt great the next day.
I bet.
But they were delicious.
Oh, I bet. So yeah, some restaurants have been in the news lately. And John, are you familiar with the term shrinkflation?
Yes. Well, I understand the concept, but I've never heard that term.
Okay. Well, shrinkflation is the practice of reducing the size of a product while maintaining its original sticker price or increasing it, which is what they're doing lately. And McDonald's, they've been on fire lately. Of course, McDonald's, but which is weird because like, remember they used to have the dollar menu and they used to have all these like, it's cheap food. It's kind of like when we go to Taco Bell and buy like just a giant bag of like food for like, $4.50. Like not anymore.
And then go to McDonald's and get burgers.
Oh, there you go. Do the fat tour.
Fat tour.
Yeah. So some places across the country are seeing a price of a Big Mac meal, just a Big Mac meal, for $18.
What?
$18. And there was this other guy he was like, I saw him on TikTok and he was holding up, he went viral he was like holding up a fish, fillet of fish or whatever they call it. And it was like this tiny little, like it looked like a little slider.
A slider.
And I'm like, what is this? What? So I don't know. So, and then there was like this former McDonald's employee that he was basically claiming that, hey, this is all true. I mean, it just makes you think that maybe I should just go into like a regular sit down diner, like just order like an actual good meal.
That's what I did last night. Got that burger, fries, amazing. Burger, amazing. All you can drink juice or soda, lemon, like fancy lemonades.
Dang.
And it was only $18.
There you go. So
and I couldn't even eat it all.
Mac.
Yeah.
The price of a Big Mac. So now there's this place, John. I just keep throwing out these like stories before we get into the music stuff here. But so there's this restaurant that like I guess they're coming under fire. Rightfully so. Hey, I mean, if you don't have kids, this would be amazing. But if you do have kids and they're a little, rowdy, then you may want to stay away from this location here. But it's this place in Georgia. There's this restaurant in Georgia. And, I'm going to play the clip here. I'm going to play the clip.
Should parents be penalized for eating out with loud, unruly kids?
The owner of a Georgia restaurant thinks so. The steakhouse is going viral for its $50 adult surcharge. The fee will be tacked on to the tab for families with children who are extra noisy and rowdy. Apparently, the punishment for parents who can't parent is listed on the menu. But one mother said she thought it was a joke. The owner said he never had to enforce the fine until 4 families showed up with 11 kids under the age of 8 who were allowed to run all over the restaurant.
It depends on how bad their kids are.
Maybe, she says, such a surcharge will prompt parents to make their progeny act properly.
Parents need to teach kids etiquette. They need to teach kids to behave, that there are other people in the world, and it's okay to have fun in the right place.
A customer recently posted this on Reddit. The owner came out and told me he was adding $50 to my bill because of my children's behavior.
Wow.
$50? You imagine? You're like, I was charged $50 for like my kid.
Yeah.
Crying or what? I don't even know.
It's going to be like if they're starting to get some low towards the end of the month on their money, they could just start getting a little more lenient what they think is bad parenting. Right. Well, or the owner wants a boat. Yeah. So that's that was interesting. I was interested looking at that. But you know what's funny? One more thing about food, John. One more thing about food. Kind of a reunion. Kind of. We just spoke about burgers and fries. We had some burgers and fries, and I had a great reunion last month. Did you ever meet my Uncle Tim? I know you met Uncle Tom. Yeah, I met the good one too.
Okay, so you did meet Uncle Tim, like the blonde-haired guy, right?
Yeah.
So he messaged me in 2021, and he just sent me a picture of a potato. And, and I was like, thanks for the picture of the potato. And he goes, you gave me this. And I go, why would I give you a potato? And he goes, it's not a potato. It's a rock that looks like a potato. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I go, wait, I gave that to you and you kept this? And he goes, yeah, like 20 years ago you gave it to me. And I'm like, well, what? Man. So he died. And my mom brought back the potato.
Whoa.
Rock. So I have the potato.
That does look like a potato.
Right?
You should use that as a gag, dude.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So yeah. So she brought this back, and there you go. Uncle Timmy.
Thanks.
Uncle Timmy. So that's fun.
I got a really cool agate rock that they look a lot like a red potato, but you hold them up to the light and you can see through them.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Where do you have
I don't know if I can get to it right now.
Okay.
I might knock down my background that I spent hours in front of you setting up.
It looks fantastic. All right. So,
enough.
Okay. Now, John, do you remember us watching the Beatles Anthology?
Of course.
God, remember that how built up that thing was? The Beatles Anthology.
They were the greatest rock and roll band of all time. They changed the face of music forever. And now, 25 years after the screams died down, it's happening again.
The Beatles Anthology Volume 1. New music in stores now. You haven't heard everything yet.
I never felt so much excitement for something on TV, except for the time they said the Beatles might be on David Letterman.
Whoa.
And then they lied, and that old dude showed up and sang Beatles songs. Was it Bud Melman or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, oh God.
He looked like a 90-year-old Drew Carey.
Right.
Maybe 95, I don't know. Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
It was the perfect timing for us because we were like heavily getting into the Beatles right at that time. And then when they announced that, forget about it. We were just like, man, we can't wait for this. And then they said, they're like, and there's going to be new music. And we're like,
yeah,
what? Crazy. So yeah, that special, it first aired on ABC back on Sunday, November 19th, 1995. And it was going to be over 3 different nights, and they spaced them out a little bit. And Free as a Bird and Real Love were the 2 songs that they released. And do you remember like how you originally felt about the songs?
I was pretty moved, and like I thought it was so cool. The videos are really cool because it had all the scenes and Easter eggs of them through their like years, and so it was kind of like bittersweet seeing all this cool stuff, especially the Free as a Bird video, like the birds flying around the city, and you see all these like Sergeant Pepper getting set up scenes and flying through the Cavern Club and shit.
Right.
That was really pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So like, and then, you know, a lot of people though, like they were like, it's a little too Jeff Linney, the production.
Yeah.
The big drums.
I could kind of see it just because of the drum sound, but it was definitely Beatles music to me. So
yeah, because I mean, John Lennon was singing them. Yeah.
Yeah. Harmonies and everything. The guitar sounded like Beatles, so it still had that authentic Beatles sound to me.
Now, which song did you prefer, Free as a Bird or Real Love as just songs in general?
Definitely Free as a Bird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, you know, so that's kind of like what I remember is like you were more of a Free as a Bird guy. I was more of a Real Love guy.
Yeah.
And it could have been because like I remember I had the demo version that they included on the Imagine soundtrack from like 1988.
Yeah.
The guitar Real Love, and I loved that. I loved that song. So maybe that was
liked it too.
Part of the reason I really liked that. But now they were going to originally have the third song, but they couldn't figure out they couldn't fix it like they could fix the other ones. The quality wasn't there. So like what happened with that, John?
They fixed it.
Yeah.
But I remember when the 3rd episode came out, we're like, all right, it's the last one. Can't wait to hear the new song.
Right,
and then the credits roll. And I felt like someone beat the crap out of me in my heart. I felt robbed. They should have like not put it on the 1st episode.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like something did they have like a rough cut of that song at that point? I don't know.
Maybe bootleg.
Maybe they had like a rough cut of it, and they're like, "It's just not good enough to put out yet." Like, you know, we're just not.
I remember
there yet.
hearing George saying it was rubbish and that he didn't really want it to go out, and so he just kind of scrapped it. So it just couldn't get around the audio quality.
Yeah, yeah. So
I mean, if you obviously listen to the 2 other songs, you can tell they were able to work the bad audio to sounding decent, but you could still tell it was bad, like the quality of it, but they were able to make it work as almost they meant to do it type of thing.
Right. Yeah. And they really cleaned it up on that new song. So,
it was crazy, man.
Yeah, so until 2021, then they issued that AI-backed audio restoration technology commissioned by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
For that documentary, that crazy awesome documentary that they did. Gosh, I'm still like shocked about like how they fixed up the coloring and just it's so insane. Good. It's so crazy. And they started putting the song together last year, and it's wild how they split up the piano and the voice and then fixed the voice and then added the new music onto it. And so the song Now and Then, how many times have you listened to that song now?
Probably 10, considering it just came out a few days ago, and I wanted to listen to it enough to get like an honest reaction instead of a knee-jerk reaction.
So what are your thoughts? What were your initial thoughts like hearing the song? Because like I saw the song, I probably heard the song 3 or 4 times, and then I watched the video too. You saw the video, right? The video that came out?
That was really cool, actually. It because when I first watched it, it was just the background of, I don't know if it was the cover of it. I mean, it's only 2 songs.
Yeah,
that Love Me Do. I'm like,
yeah,
why is Love Me Do on there? I guess it's the beginning and the end.
Yep. Now and then.
I guess.
Yep. Yeah. That was the whole concept. They're like, we'll make
I see.
Now 2023, and then what? 1962, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I was kind of hoping it was like a remix or something. You know, I don't know, like an outtake or something, but it was just a cleaned up version.
Yeah. So okay. So give me your kind of like review of the song. You know, I mean, I don't know. What were your original thoughts on the song, the production, like everything about the song?
So to me, it's mediocre. Like, I really like parts of it, and I don't like other parts of it. So as a whole, I was not like as excited as I was for the other 2. I don't really like the chorus. Personally, it sounds like Traveling Wilburys in the chorus to me. And I feel like the solo, and I don't even think the solo was played by George, because they had the original guitar from the original, but it sounded like Paul was trying to mimic George.
I think that's what people have said too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was missing George. I really love George's guitar. He has like this specific sound when he plays.
Yeah, you're like he sings with the guitar.
Yeah.
It's like, it
was just more in a minor chord, so it was just kind of a downer. I think part of it was just because it made me kind of sad, because I knew it was the last one. It was in a minor chord, and then the chorus had like, I don't know who's singing in the background. Kind of sounded bad. I don't know if it was just Paul McCartney sounding real old, or
that's
if it
what
was
I noticed
Ringo.
too. Yeah, they're both singing in it.
But the parts with John were really good. Like, the audio was great. So it's like, I don't know, 50-50.
Yeah, because they have 39-year-old John singing. But then they have like 80-year-old Ringo and, and Paul singing. So yeah.
So parts of it I really liked, and other parts I didn't.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. Like I think that the technology was fantastic. I think that it sounded good, like the actual production, and it was cool. They had the strings, like that kind of thing with was it George Martin's son?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that was all cool. It just you know what it sounded like? It sounded to me, because like I'm kind of on the same page with you as far as, I thought the song itself, just the song, is just, it's okay. It sounded to me like a demo. It sounded like he was singing into a tape saying like, I kind of have an idea of a song, so I'm just going to lay it down, and like you do when you have a demo, and then you go back to it later to improve it, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess they improved it with all the production behind it, but the production sounds modern, and then you have old Paul, and Ringo almost sounds better than Paul now, like his voice, because Paul sounds like an old man. Like, he's still amazing at playing instruments, and he's a great ear. He's amazing, but it's just it's kind of like listening to Elton John now. Like, you're like, he's just not, but I don't know. I just think that the song itself is not great, but it does sound cool. And I certainly liked it a lot better when you watch the video. The video is like, woo,
sure.
That's like way cooler. I was like, way, way cooler. I liked it like a lot more when I watched the video.
I know, same here.
Yeah.
I think that changed a lot when you sent me the link to the video. I was like, oh, I didn't even know they're releasing a video. And
they should have almost just released the video first, instead of they're like, we're going to release the documentary, and then we're going to release the song, and then we're going to release the video. And I'm like, this is 2023. We can listen to it with the video. We get it. Like, I don't know.
One of the cool things on the documentary was the band, the orchestra, was playing in the background. They didn't tell them what they were working on until after it was done.
They thought they were working on like a new Paul McCartney song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, but that would still be cool. They're like, okay, wait, what do they tell them? They're like, make sure you dress up, make sure you shave today or whatever, because we're going to be filming this. And this is going to be for like a new Paul McCartney album or whatever. It's a Paul McCartney thing. And, so, I mean, even then I'd be like, oh, okay. Yikes. What do I do? What do I do? Like,
if they would have said a new Ringo song, they probably would have half-assed it.
Yeah, the new Ringo song. Oh, poor Ringo. Yeah.
Ringo's awesome. He's not the best musician, but that guy, he's awesome.
I think we talked about this previously, but in that documentary, God, he comes out as the best one. Like, oh man, out of all the guys, I want to hang out with Ringo, man. That'd be amazing. He's like so nice. He's like so
He just loves life and comes across as just happy to be.
No wonder, like you watch that and you're like, well, no wonder they had him in the group, because like Paul is sitting there and he's working on a song, and then Ringo's like, okay, and then he starts playing it, and it's like, okay, that's what you want, right? You want someone that adds to your song and improves your song with, percussion, and that guy was Ringo, and he's just going, and he's fine being like the guy that's just sitting back, and and once in a great while he'd be like, hey, looks like an octopus's garden over there. They're like, what? Octopus's garden? What's that? What's going on? Yeah. So
another thing I kind of wasn't too excited about, or kind of sad about on the new release, was I didn't feel like Ringo's drums got as creative as normal. You didn't hear as many of his classic fills and stuff. There's a couple, but usually it's like every other melody, he's like doing some different fill from one to the next.
Yeah, I was watching, that Rick Beato guy on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So he's this guy. He's like this producer, musician guy, and he has a huge YouTube channel, and he reviewed it, right? And I watched his review. I wrote my own review down before I watched his, but I pretty much was like right on par with his review of it. And he's basically saying, because like this guy's like, we're just amateurs. This guy's like, he does his show in a studio, like, so he's the real deal, right? And he's like a musician, so he's like breaking it down. He's doing all the breakdown of all the actual, like, the singing and how they broke it down and all this stuff. But he basically said that it sounds like what it is, which is, an old song and kind of like old Beatles with new instruments and like new. So it's like old meets new. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like what it's supposed to be, but I don't know. I think that, like you said, like when you could hear like Paul, like, like singing in the background, I'm like, oh God, I can hear that, man. Like tone that down a little bit. Can you, you fixed John's vocals with AI. Can you fix Paul's with AI? Can you like,
maybe they'll retcon it.
There's 400 miles of audio of Paul McCartney over the last, 50 years. Yeah. You could probably get some of his old like background singing and just insert that into the background of the song.
For sure.
I don't know.
It probably has more audio than any other musician.
Oh, it's got to be crazy. It's got to be wild, except for the audio that was stolen in Nigeria or wherever that was.
Yeah.
Where was that? I don't know where that was. Somewhere down in Africa. But yeah. So now there were some other releases that so it's just all these old guys releasing music, but it's shocking that some of the music is really good. Like, so did you hear, what do you want to start off with? So there was the Rolling Stones album that came out first. The Rolling Stones, someone made this meme. They were like, you're like walking by this store and it's like, new music from the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. And it was like, what is this, 1964? Like, no, this is 2023. But yeah. No, so the Stones came out with an album, and what are your thoughts on some of the songs on the new Stones album?
Yeah, so we kind of covered the new single they put out a few weeks back, and it was really good. Yeah, what sounded like a Stones, a Stones classic.
Yep.
And then the album, I was listening through it yesterday, and I probably like half the songs on there a lot. Like,
yeah, I
they're
have
definitely better than anything I've heard from them since the 80s.
Yeah, it's solid, dude. I remember there's this guy, which is crazy because like Mick's voice, Mick's never had a classically great voice, but he has a great rock voice, and man, his voice sounds still good.
Yeah,
it's not like the like let it be, let it be. We're like the fact that I'm ripping on Paul McCartney right now, I feel bad, but listen, he's not what he was, but. Mick sounds fantastic. I don't know what happened, but he sounds great.
He even hit some high notes in one of his songs.
It's crazy how good he sounds.
What the hell? Did they throw AI on that or what?
I don't know, but some of these songs too, they sound amazing. They sound great. And wasn't there like one with Lady Gaga? There's like a bunch of like
Elton John.
Yeah, there's one with McCartney's making like the rounds on all these albums too. Like he's all over everything. Like, everyone's like, Paul, you want to be on my album? He's like, okay, I'm not doing anything. Yeah. So like, it's just crazy. He's like all over the place, but there's Lady Gaga was on one of the songs. Paul. Yeah. It's like just a bunch of people. Charlie Watts, like good old Charlie Watts is on a couple of the tracks before he passed away.
Nice.
So yeah. No, that album was surprise. Like I was like, all right, so it's time to check out the Stones. Got work to do. And I turned it on. I was like, weird. Wow, this is pretty good, man. Like, wow,
I know.
This is crazy. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I liked a few songs on Voodoo Lounge, and I liked a few songs on We're Just a Babylon. There's a handful of, but this one probably has more songs that I like than those ones. So yeah, that was a good observation. Now, did you get to hear any of the new Jimmy Buffett? Because Jimmy Buffett released an album before, like he did that thing where wasn't that Dave Bowie did that? Where like he's like, I'm gonna die, and then we'll release my album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, I guess he was planning on it. So
that Bowie one though, was it called Lazarus or something? I was like, well, that's kind of on the nose, right?
Yeah, and the Bowie ones, that's like a dark, heavy album. Like, I was listening to that, I was like, oh, new Bowie. I'm like, oh, this is kind of sad.
Feel good.
Yeah, this is not a happy album here. But the Jimmy Buffett album, it's basically the opposite. It's like
it's classic.
Yeah,
it's like classic Buffett. I was like,
I would say, well, it's clearly better than anything he did in the 80s. Like, we talked about his 80s stuff, and it's like, but remember when it was like 9/11ish, when countries like, yeah, we're country. What's the most American thing we could like possibly get behind? Oh, country. So like like country was like the new rock basically, and it replaced
Freedom
rock.
Fries and Cowboys.
Boom. So now, did you have any? There was a couple songs on there that I was like, man, these are really like just really good songs. Yeah. In general.
I actually like the second song, "Bubble Up," was kind of a slow song, but it was good.
It's a great song because it's like it has like two meanings. Like, so basically, he went diving with like, I guess I don't know if it's the SEAL team with the Navy SEALs or something. And, and they always said like, hey, the old thing is if you get disoriented, like, and you're like down deep somewhere, all you got to do is follow the bubbles. Because they'll always go. Oh yeah, always go straight out.
True.
So you just follow the bubbles. So it's bubbles up, but it has like one of those double meanings, which are the best. Because like he's basically kind of like he's talking about life and whatever. So it's one of those songs that's like a really cool song because he is talking about just his life in general and bubbles up. So so he's like, you could tell that was probably meant. He's like, hey, I want that to be released right after I pass away. So
there was two that I thought I was going to like way more just because he has a way of putting funny names on his songs. Yeah. And then I'm like thinking it's going to be amazing, and I listen to it and I'm like, yeah.
Which one?
The one was Fish Porn, and it was more like a country song.
Yeah.
And then but his lyrics are always so great. They have the sound of like a song I wouldn't typically like. But then if I listened to the lyrics, I was like, all right, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He's singing about some like country ballad, but it'll be about eating burgers and stuff. And then the other one was about the gummies kick in or something like that.
Oh, so I read an article talking about that, and apparently he got that the lyrics of that from, he was at like a house party or something like that with Paul McCartney and his wife, and his wife was like, "Whoa, I think the gummies just kicked in," or something like that. So he's like, "Oh," I just see him like. So it's like basically kind of like he's kind of like talking about the night. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So he had Paul McCartney on that song. So yeah, the song was okay.
I didn't even notice that.
But the like you said, it's like, who thinks of like the gummies are kicking? Oh, okay.
That's what I like about his music is even if, like I was saying, even if I don't like the music, it's like the meaning and the lyrics are always really cool.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I just saw a thing the other day where it says, if you would have asked me this question without reading this, obviously, like I know the answer, but like they asked, I don't know, some like UK newspaper or something like that. They asked Bob Dylan who his favorite lyricists of all time were. And number one was Jimmy Buffett. And I'm like,
wow,
what? I go, no. But if Bob Dylan, if that's his favorite, because he had like some of the classics on there,
oh yeah.
But he had Jimmy Buffett on there, and I was like, wow. So like, it is interesting because everyone just associates Jimmy Buffett with the fun party songs, Margaritaville, and I don't know where I'm gonna go in the fall. Okay, these classic party songs, but some of his deep cuts, man, like they're wild. Remember, I sent you that one song. I can't remember what it is. Like, my head hurts, my feet stink, and I don't love Jesus. And you're like, oh man, that would have been way up there if I was like, I go, that sounds like a John song right there.
I know. There's so many songs. Like, I've never taken the time to really go through his stuff because I never really was exposed to it too much until recently. And so, I mean, he has such a huge discography that it's hard to tackle in one bite. So it's almost like I was surprised at some of the stuff I did hear when we talked about him last.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
I would have never guessed.
I'm sure he has like some songs that like in the 80s that are, pretty good songs. I know he had, a few hits. Big, I think that that Harbor song, I know that was a big hit, but that was like early in the 80s, I think 83 or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, I think the production of those 80 songs really just turns me off because it's so bad. But the
80s kind of did that to a lot of people.
But
he has cocaine, and I don't know what happened. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. So and you were talking about who else had another album that is like just dropped.
Rob Halford.
Rob Halford. Now, is that with Judas Priest or is that just solo?
I'm pretty sure it's Judas Priest.
Guy has some pipes too, man.
Dude, it's crazy. He's got his signature bald head, but he's got a big old beard. Looks kind of like David Letterman, a shaved bald. Letterman grew out that big old beard after
so he has a big beard going on?
Yeah.
That's crazy. The Letterman
looks
beard.
Pretty damn cool.
Right.
The singing on there, like, I've never been a huge Priest because the singing style has never been my favorite, but dude can sing.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
can sing.
It's kind of like that Bruce Dickinson has pipes. You just he's a great singer in that aspect where for that kind of music he has serious pipes. But it's just not my style. It's cool that they sing about the stuff that they do because it's like that crazy, weird, different world kind of stuff. But it's not my style. But like he can hit crazy notes, and that's just like Rob Halford. I mean, I love the hits of Rob Halford and Judas Priest. Got Another Thing Coming, and what are some of those like?
Living After Midnight.
Yeah, Living After Midnight.
That's probably my favorite. I thought that was Rat for the longest time.
Oh, really?
I was growing up.
It kind of sounds like it.
Yeah.
Round and round. Yeah.
I love that song, dude.
Yeah, that was a good song.
The music video was crazy. It's like this girl like who's in her like dressed up all proper, and like at this family who's all super like stiff and stuck up looking, all dressed up real nice, and she like comes out of this cocoon. I don't know, man. It's like a fever dream trying to remember.
Isn't Tawny Katane,
she comes
like,
out.
She's on like a couple of their albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, man, she was
classic 80s.
Yep.
80s lady there.
Yeah. So were there any other old guys putting up? I mean, I'm sure there are. There's like so many.
There was some, but they were a while back. And so I was like, it's been a little too long to consider it as new.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's. Gosh,
I don't know, man. I'm
just surprised that
see more.
I'm surprised that these old guys are putting out pretty good music.
I know. I'm trying to think who's due. AC/DC.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know if Brian Johnson's voice is gonna ever recover.
Well, I'm glad you brought up AC/DC. Did you just see AC/DC? Is that what you saw?
Yeah.
So AC/DC, there's one more story before we go here. I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot it. There is a band in LA, in Los Angeles, and they just lost a key member of their group a few weeks ago. And his name was Clint Yeager, and he actually died from an emergency procedure from a respiratory infection. And the rest of the group was shocked and devastated. And so now, of course, they're looking for a replacement guitarist to fill his spot. The name of this band? GayC. GayC, the all-gay AC/DC tribute act.
Oh, wow.
And now,
Genghis
John,
Young.
before you get too excited, they do have some requirements if you are interested in trying out. Number one, you need to live in Los Angeles.
Dang, I'm going there in a couple weeks.
Well, I mean, if you want to move the fam down there, but like, just wait, you might be disqualified here. So number two, you need to be male.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I'm still
Nailed
listening. Yeah, I'm still. Number three, you need to be gay.
It's never too young to change. You're never too old to change, or just need a hot enough guy to turn me, and it's just
there you go.
It hasn't happened yet.
There you go. It's 2023, man. It's 2023. All right. Yeah. Number four, you need to be capable and flamboyant. I mean, can you put on the can you do the Freddie Mercury stuff, or you no?
Well, I can be flamboyant. I'm just not very capable.
I've seen you play guitar. Okay, well, here's the last one. So number 5, this is the tough part. You need to be able to play guitar like Malcolm Young.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
Okay, all right.
I can't even play guitar like myself.
Can you play like Angus?
I don't know if they make school kid uniforms big enough for me.
I'm sure you can have one tailor-made. This is LA, man.
That's true.
This is LA. This is LA. All I want to do is have a little fun before I die.
Yeah, LA is getting kind of rough these days. I don't know if it's good community to relocate to.
That's true. So if you're not able to do it, if anybody else out there, if they know anybody that fits this profile, you're urged to send in your audition video to GayC guitarist auditions, and they'll take a look at you. Maybe give you a tryout. I don't know what the tryouts are.
In the sheet metal construction industry, I should be able to find plenty of candidates. The construction industry's full of flamboyant guys who don't talk about sports trucks and motorbikes and guns all day.
Oh, God.
I think that's why they put me in the office. I'm too weird to be out with the general population.
They're like, what do we do with this guy? I mean, he shows up every day. Like, he's a great employee. I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. You said he doesn't like NASCAR? He's not, I don't know. He's more into painting and stuff. I'm like, what? Just put him in the back. It's kind of like Howard Stern when he talks about in that movie, Private Parts. He's like, I really want to be in the air. He's like, ugh. I mean, we can't really put you on the air. He goes, but you do show up every day. You're a good employee, He's like, we'll make you general manager or whatever it was. Music director. He's like, I didn't know anything about music. All right. So, okay. John, do you have anything else, buddy? Do you have anything else you'd like to add to this episode, to this fantastic episode, this old guy episode, this GayC DC? Anything?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, my head's swirling with the idea of GayC DC auditions, and I'm just waiting to try it at a new Hangover cure. So
that's right.
Got a lot to think about.
Yes, I will. Listen, when I put Eric onto a task, he comes through. He comes through. You'd love it. You love Eric, man. Eric, we got to get him on this. I got to try out that stuff. Maybe we'll do a review on here. We'd have to be kind of pretty drunk, huh? We'd be like, all right, so here's the time to try this new Hangover Remedy. By the way,
see if we can manage to get it started while we're hammered, and then make it last a couple hours and see how it works.
By the way, I'd be kind of scared, like to try it though, because like, okay, I have my normal stuff that I do, right? So I just like, well, I'm not going to do that, and then I just for the show, I'm like, well, let's see if this works, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just down for like the rest of the week. That's not fun. That's not fun. That's horrible. That's a horrible idea.
And then to find out that you forgot to hit record and you just wasted that whole week feeling miserable.
And you know, what's funny is I know Eric's going to try it, but Eric doesn't even get hangovers. So it's like, Eric's like, well, I've never had a hangover.
Not fair.
I'm like, well, you can't have like, I have some friends that they've never had hangovers. So I'm like, well, that's not, I can't test it with you. It's going to have to be like me and like Jen, like someone that has like horrible, like debilitating hangovers.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah.
I want you to risk a horrible hangover. Yeah, right. You'll end up like Jackass and projectile vomiting all over each other.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to wait until this has like been tested a little bit more and like people can. And then if it does come out that this thing is like just some magical miracle drug, it's kind of like, you know how everyone's doing the Ozempic? Is that what it is? The Ozempic, the pill that people are taking for like diabetes, but they found out, all the famous people found out that you could lose like massive amounts of weight. Like
I know.
So like now there's like a shortage of this drug for actually people that need the drug, and it's like just famous people that want to lose 25 pounds or whatever, and they're like, wow, these famous people are fantastic.
Supposedly has horrible side effects.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know yet, but it is a magical drug. So we'll see.
It's what is that? Olestra they had that caused anal seepage.
Oh my God.
On the potato chips, the cooking oil that was supposed to be like fat free and help you lose weight because it would bind to the fats.
Yeah.
And then people just started having anal oily shits coming out.
You might have something dripping down your leg in the middle of the day when you least expect it. So, I mean, there is that. But there's a possibility you won't. And I'm like, okay, I gotta show up at work. Like, you're like doing a presentation. So you're like, oh God. It's like short stay. It's like a Friday. And they're like, people are like, what is that? What's that?
Well, probably 50% of the office would be having the same problem.
Yeah, right.
If it worked that good.
Oh, these offices. Yeah. Or, now they could probably do it because, half of the offices are empty. So who knows? Yeah.
We need people to come back to work. I need to start being able to build stuff again.
You just want to sit in traffic longer, right? You like sitting in traffic? Actually, you show up before traffic, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What time do you get to? What time do you get to?
Time in the morning. About 4:45.
It's not bad.
Although you're sending me messages about the time I'm getting ready to leave home, so you're an early riser too.
I can't help it. Yeah, but
I can't help it, but I have to.
It might change a little bit because of the time change. The time change because
yeah, that's right.
Everybody changes, but Arizona doesn't change, but the rest of the country still changes. So I have to change my schedule for an hour ahead. So we'll see. Anyway,
I just need to get rid of that.
Anyway, John, is there anything else? Anything else you'd like to add? Anything else?
No, I think anal seepage was the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Great. That's great. People are like, so did you guys listen to that new episode? Yeah, what happened? All I can remember is anal seepage. That's it. That's all
I remember throwing up in my mouth a little at the end. That's all I remember.
All right, okay. We're going to leave it there, John. Anal seepage. So, all right. Well, okay. Well, hey, everybody, if John hasn't turned you off by now, please like, subscribe, comment. What did you think of the new old people music? What did you think of, charging people $50 for screaming kids in a restaurant?
And who would you like to hear come out? What old people would you like to hear come out?
I like it. Yeah. So, let us know. Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk to you then. So, for John Rajcich, I'm Josh, and as always, thank you for being a friend.